Imagine pushing a boulder up a hill for 12 years. Your shoulders hurt, your legs burn, you look up and you're barely halfway. Most people let go right here. They walk away. They tell themselves it wasn't worth it. But the ones who don't, they reach the top. And then the boulder rolls downhill by itself, faster than they ever imagined. Let me tell you about a mistake almost everyone makes. A mistake that looks logical but is actually financial poison. Most people think money grows like a tree. Plant a seed, water it, watch it grow a little taller each year. Slow, steady, predictable. But money doesn't grow like a tree. Money grows like a virus. Slow at first, invisible even, then suddenly everywhere. This is why people quit. They look at their account after 3 years and see $10,000. They do the math. At this rate, they say, I'll be dead before I reach $1 million. And if money grew in a straight line, they'd be right. But it doesn't. And that one misunderstanding has destroyed more financial futures than any recession in history. Let me show you the difference. On a straight line, 100,000 is 10% of $1 million. 10%? That's nothing. That's a tip at a restaurant. But on a curve, 100,000 is often closer to 1/3 of the way to $1 million, sometimes half. And that changes everything about how you should think about your progress. The problem is that your brain wasn't built to understand exponential growth. Your brain evolved to hunt animals and avoid snakes, not to calculate compound interest. So when you look at your $20,000 balance, your brain says, this is moving too slowly, this is pointless. Go buy something that feels good now. That voice in your head. That's the voice of poverty. That's the voice trying to protect you from short-term discomfort while guaranteeing long-term failure. I've watched this happen hundreds of times. Someone saves for a few years. They have $15,000. They look at it. They feel nothing. They stop. And here's the tragedy. If they had just kept going for 3 more years, that 15,000 would have become 30,000. And something would have clicked. But they never got to the click. They quit right before the magic happened. I want to show you 3 people. Not hypothetical. Not imaginative. Real patterns I've watched play out dozens of times. Different names, same mistakes. Let's call the first pattern the FOMO trader. Meet David. David started investing at 28, did everything right, saved $400 a month, didn't touch it. After 5 years, he had about $32,000. Decent, respectable. But David wasn't interested in decent. David looked at his friend who had put $20,000 into cryptocurrency and turned it into $60,000 in 18 months. David thought, I'm being patient. He's being smart. I'm doing it wrong. So David sold his index funds, put $30,000 into 3 different crypto coins, felt like a genius for 3 months, watched his portfolio go up to $45,000, then watched it drop to $12,000 in 1 week. David didn't lose money because he was stupid. He lost money because he confused short-term luck with long-term strategy. The cruel irony? If David had left his $32,000 alone for 20 more years, it would have grown to about $250,000 without him doing anything. Instead, he's back to zero, starting over, and he'll never get those 5 years back. Time is the only thing you can't earn back. Second pattern. Let's call her the lifestyle borrower. Her real name was Monica. Monica had saved $40,000 by age 32. Good job, good habits. Then she got a promotion, new title, new office, new pressure. Everyone around her drove nice cars. You deserve it, they said. You worked hard, they said. Life is short, they said. Monica bought a $45,000 car, financed most of it, told herself she could still invest, just less. Less became nothing. Nothing became withdrawals. She needed tires. She needed maintenance. She needed insurance on a car that cost twice what her old car cost. Within 2 years, Monica's investment account had shrunk to $12,000. That $40,000, gone, spent, depreciated. The car she bought, worth $22,000 now, and dropping. She lost $18,000 in depreciation plus $28,000 in lost investment growth. Monica didn't lose money to the market. She lost money to her own reflection. She wanted to look successful more than she wanted to be successful. And here's the saddest part. The people she was trying to impress, they didn't care. They were too busy worrying about their own car payments. Third pattern. Let's call him the information addict. His real name was Carlos. Carlos was smart, too smart for his own good. He read every financial blog, watched every YouTube video, subscribed to 3 different stock-picking newsletters. Carlos had saved $50,000 by age 35. A solid foundation. But he couldn't stop tinkering. Every week, Carlos made a trade. Sell this, buy that. He was chasing momentum and relative strength and technical indicators. Words that sound smart but usually mean I'm guessing. The problem? Every trade cost him fees. Every bad trade cost him principal. Every good trade cost him taxes. Studies show that the average active trader underperforms the market by about 4% per year. Carlos underperformed by 7%. After 8 years of being smart, Carlos had $62,000. If he had just left his $50,000 alone in an index fund, he would have had about $95,000. Carlos paid $33,000 for the privilege of being wrong. That's $4,000 per year for the ego boost of thinking he was an investor. The market doesn't care how smart you are. The market cares how patient you are. David, Monica, Carlos. Different lives, different mistakes, same result. They all had one thing in common. They had enough money to hurt themselves, but not enough money to survive their own bad decisions. This is the danger zone. Between $10,000 and $100,000, you have the power to destroy years of progress in weeks. And most people do exactly that. Not because they're bad people, because their brain is screaming at them to do something. Doing nothing is the hardest thing in the world when you feel like you should be doing something, but doing nothing is almost always the right answer. Let me show you what actually works, not what feels good, not what sells courses, what actually works. I'm going to give you a timeline. Pay attention because this is the part that sounds fake but isn't. You invest $100 every week, not a fortune, not a sacrifice that requires eating ramen. Just $100. $100 is 3 dinners out, or 2 streaming services plus coffee, or 1 less impulse purchase on Amazon, or half of 1 cable bill. Most people spend $100 on things they don't remember 2 weeks later. The question is not whether you have $100. The question is where you point it. You do this every week. You don't stop. You don't panic. You don't get clever. Year 1 through year 5. You have about $34,000. Feels slow, right? Your contributions are doing most of the work. Investment returns are still warming up. Most people quit here. This is where the boulder feels heaviest. This is where the voice in your head says, this is pointless. But here's what nobody tells you. You're not supposed to feel rich at $34,000. You're supposed to feel bored. Bored is good. Bored means you're not making stupid mistakes. Year 6 through year 10, you have about $83,000. Your money is starting to help. The growth feels less like a trickle and more like a stream. This is where something shifts psychologically. You start to notice that your balance is going up by hundreds of dollars every month without you doing anything. You check your account one morning and you're up $800 from the day before. $800. While you were sleeping. While you were dreaming about something else. This is the moment most people get excited, and excitement is dangerous. Excitement makes you want to optimize. Don't. Just keep going. Year 10 through year 15, you crossed $100,000, then $130,000, then 170. Here's what most people don't understand about $100,000. It's not just a number, it's a gear shift. Before 100,000, your contributions are the engine. Your returns are just along for the ride. After 100,000, your returns start driving the car. Think about that. Your money is now doing more work than you are. You're just the person who points it in the right direction and gets out of the way. Year 15 through year 20, you hit $200,000, then 270, then 350. Notice something? The gaps are getting shorter. The first 100,000 took about 12 years. The second 100,000 took about 6 years. Read that again. The second 100,000 came twice as fast as the first. The third 100,000 will come even faster. This is exponential growth. This is the snowball. This is what people mean when they say the first million is the hardest. Year 20 through year 25. You cross $500,000, then 600, then 700. At this point, your money is making more in a year than you're contributing. Your weekly $100 feels like a drop in a bucket that's already filling itself. You could stop contributing entirely and still be a millionaire in 10 years. But you won't stop, because now you're addicted to watching the number grow. Year 25 through year 30, you cross $1 million. Let me put this in perspective. You personally contributed about $150,000 over 30 years. The other $850,000, that's growth. That's your money having babies, and those babies having babies, and those babies having babies. You didn't earn that money. Your money earned that money. While you slept, while you watched TV, while you worried about things that don't matter. This is not magic. This is not a secret. This is 7th grade math that most people never apply to their own lives. Here's the part that changes how you should think about every dollar you save. When people hear $100,000, they think it's 10% of a million, 1/10, barely started. But in terms of time and effort, $100,000 is often 1/3 of the way to a million, sometimes closer to half. Because of the curve, the distance between 0 and 100,000 is roughly the same as the distance between 100,000 and 1 million. Think about what that means. The hardest part, the pushing, the patience, the discipline, that's all front-loaded. Once you pass 100,000, the game changes. You're not building wealth anymore. Your wealth is building itself. You stop being the worker. You become the manager. And the best managers know when to do nothing. Let me give you 3 rules. Not complicated, not sexy, just true. Rules that have created more millionaires than any trading strategy. Rule 1, don't touch it. I don't mean don't spend it. I mean don't trade it. Don't reallocate it. Don't try to optimize it. Don't chase the hot sector. Don't sell when the news is scary. Every time you sell something and buy something else, you're betting that you know more than the market. You don't. Studies of the stock market show that the best investors are often dead people. I'm serious. Dead people don't panic. Dead people don't check their portfolios. Dead people don't sell at the bottom. Be a little bit dead. In a good way. Set it and forget it. Then actually forget it. Rule 2. Hide the app, delete the notification. Check your balance once a quarter, not once a day, not once a week, once every 3 months. Your portfolio will go up. Your portfolio will go down. Watching it doesn't change anything. It only changes how you feel. And how you feel is the enemy. When you feel good, you want to buy more. When you feel bad, you want to sell. Both instincts are wrong. The perfect investor checks their balance 4 times a year, rebalances once a year, and spends the rest of their time doing literally anything else. Your anxiety is not a trading signal. Your excitement is not a trading signal. Ignore both. Rule 3. Increase slowly. Every time you get a raise, put half of it into your investment account before you see it in your paycheck. You got a 3% raise? Increase your weekly investment by 1.5%. You'll never miss money you never saw. This is how people go from $100 a week to $300 a week without feeling a thing. Lifestyle creep in reverse. The people who become millionaires aren't the ones who made the most money. They're the ones who kept more of what they made and let time do the heavy lifting. A neurosurgeon earning $800,000 a year can die broke. A teacher earning $60,000 can die rich. The difference is not income. The difference is behavior. Let me tell you about the psychological shift that separates millionaires from everyone else. Most people think about money in terms of what it can buy today. A nicer car, a better vacation, a fancier dinner, a newer phone. People who build wealth think about money in terms of what it can become tomorrow. They see every dollar as a potential $10, every 10 as a potential 100. That $100 you don't spend today isn't just $100. It's a seed. It's a seed that grows into a tree that grows more seeds that grow more trees. After 30 years, that $100 has turned into about $1,000. Not because of magic, because of math, because of time, because of patience. So every time you decide not to buy something, you're not depriving yourself. You're buying your future self a gift. Your future self is going to wake up one day and realize they don't have to work anymore. They don't have to answer to a boss they hate. They don't have to wake up to an alarm clock. Your future self is going to thank you for every stupid, boring, annoying choice you made today to skip the unnecessary purchase. Every time you said no to the fancy dinner. Every time you drove the old car for one more year. Here's what makes this so hard. The progress is invisible for a very long time. You save for 5 years. You have $30,000. You look at it. You feel nothing. You save for 10 years. You have $80,000. You look at it. You feel slightly less nothing. You save for 15 years. You have $150,000. Now you're interested. Now you're excited. Now you can see the finish line. The problem is that most people quit during the feel nothing phase. They quit when the boulder is heaviest, right before it starts rolling by itself. This is why $100,000 is such an important milestone. Not because the math changes. The math has been changing the whole time. Because you change. Because when you see that six-figure number, something clicks. The abstract becomes real. The fantasy becomes possible. And that click is worth more than any investment strategy you'll ever learn. That click is the difference between quitting at 40,000 and retiring at 55. Let me leave you with 3 sentences. Just 3. Write them down if you need to. 1. The first 100,000 is the hardest because you're fighting your own brain, not the market. 2. Every dollar you don't spend today is $10 your future self doesn't have to earn. 3. The boring path is the rich path. Get comfortable with boring. That's the video. That's the philosophy. You can take it or leave it. Most people will leave it. Most people will quit at $20,000. Most people will buy the car. Most people will stay average. That's not me being mean. That's me being honest. The math is available to everyone. Most people just can't handle the waiting. The waiting is the hard part. The waiting is where most people fail. The waiting is the skill you actually need to develop. If you want more of this, actual math, uncomfortable truths, no get-rich-quick nonsense, hit subscribe. I make videos for people who want to build real wealth, not for people who want to pretend on Instagram. There's a difference. Subscribe if you want the second one. Here's your question. Answer honestly, no filters, no performance. What's one thing you bought in the last year that you barely remember now? Not the thing that changed your life. The thing you bought, used twice, forgot about, and are still paying for. The thing that seemed important at the time and then meant nothing a month later. I'll go first in the comments. I'll tell you about the expensive camera I bought and used 4 times. You go second, write your thing. Don't be embarrassed. Everyone has one. The only embarrassing mistake is the one you don't learn from. Get rich slowly, stay boring, ignore the noise, and I'll see you in the next one.